Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be the first part in two-part series of me making this Mrs. Danvers re-inspired costume, which is also my foundation's revealed entry for this year. So it's for the level of novice, if I'm not wrong. Basically, I would say I confess I love the musical Rebecca first, and then I read the novel after. And there is some changes in, very slight changes I think, in the musical, but I think both of them are very, very similar. I did not watch the Netflix movie that came out last year. I don't really like to watch movies. So anyway, I will leave a sort of write-up that I did for the competition down below, which kind of explains a bit of bullshit actually of what I actually wrote and also thought about when I was creating the costume. Basically, this was not actually my first choice or first plan. Originally I wanted to do Titania from Shakespeare's Midsummer Night's Dream, but due to some clarifications later, we kind of realized that we couldn't do anything that was not a novel first. So obviously Shakespeare's Midsummer Night's Dream was a play first. So I was like, okay, I'm not the authority on this subject. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just do Danvers, because that was actually something that I planned quite a long time ago. So I'm pretty sure you guys know. I don't think I've showed it before, but like I drew a sort of recreation of what I thought Mrs. Danvers might wear to the ball based on what Pia Dow's wore in the 2012 Stuttgart production of Rebecca. It's like the purple one over here. I'll put it here. And then originally I wanted to do it in purple, and I already bought the purple silk, and then I realized that I don't actually, because I was going to do purple and with green accents, then I realized, oh, I don't actually like this, and then I'm going to change it. So I bought green silk, and then that's what I ended up with. So yeah, that is my sort of short story about how it began. I will let the rest of the video for this week's video tell you about the making of the skirt. I'll just say that there is not much of the actual making of the base skirt, because I basically used the same truly Victorian skirt. You can go see my other videos where I talk about making skirts, because it's the same base, like, you know, it's really the same thing. I have not changed my skirt pattern for like ages, and I think I should, because I actually realized that's like some parts are not actually like even, but anyway, yeah, so base skirt is actually the same as my other videos, and then I kind of just went through whatever else that I did differently compared to the usual. And then next week's video I'll be talking about how, this week's video I'm also talking about how I kind of cut the Beetlewings, which are actually not that hard, to be honest. And then next week's video I'll be talking about how I did the bodice, and yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you next week, and I'll probably talk more about the actual process and the intro for next week's video. And yeah, bye! So here I am just putting the zip tie boning in the hem. I think zip ties actually work really well for this, because it doesn't really stick out too much, but it does give a very nice effect. But I think what I did was basically I folded and pin the green sort of fashion fabric first, and then I am now sort of folding the zip tie into the lining, and then folding it pressed against the green fashion fabric, if you get what I mean. So lining is only in the bone is only in the lining, yeah, so that it doesn't show on the outside. And then now I am just sewing it all together. I'm sewing it closed basically, and I'm using the machine because you can't actually see the thread because of the lace, but you might want to hand sew it. So basically what I've done here is just kind of sew down one side of the waistband. So in the middle is cotton tape, and then I folded both sides of the fashion fabric over. And then I just machine sewed that one already sewn side to the skirt, so it's a strong stitch, and then flipped the other one over and hand sewed it. So one side is anchored neatly and the other side is prettier. Although this ended up being kind of useless because I ended up putting more lace over it, and then you will see later actually. So I've decided to change the configuration a little bit. Instead of having like one here and one here, I'm just gonna have three, and then I'm gonna cut the entire thing into half. It's more work for me, so right now I have to file these down to like it's smaller than what it was originally. So I have to file these down and then poke holes in them. But you know, I figured I'm already doing work, so I just may as well do some more. And then here I am just kind of shaving it down, poking holes, etc., etc. It's actually a very satisfying process. I really like this part because it really is like cutting fingernails, except really long green fingernails, I suppose. Yeah, I kind of just use a nail cutter and use I think you probably saw the very pokey thing that is actually used for polymer clay, I think, because well, that's what I use it for anyway, to just pierce a little hole in it. And it's pretty easy, that part. The annoying part is sewing it on, as you can see in this clip, where it's just everything's just really fiddly, and you really have to anchor the first one. So what I did was do the one in the middle first, and then the other two at the side, so that I could sort of see where, so that both of them look sort of symmetrical. So both sides look sort of symmetrical. If not, I had to rip out a few because they just look terribly off. Yeah. Okay, so I've sort of pinned together I finished this braid, one side finally. So it's going to be at least two sides. If I have more, then I will have more, but I think for now, I think I will only be able to have this braid on both sides because that's how much I have. Although I still have one roll technically, so we'll see. And then for the waistband, this is some cotton tape that I've just kind of ironed the silk over. So what I'm going to do later, perhaps, I'm just gonna sew this on the inside. I'm gonna baste this down first. So baste cotton tape to silk. Do this. So I put it behind, and then I'm just going to fold it over. You get what I mean? So it's just gonna be like this on the outside, just gonna be folded over. You'll see. But yeah, that's my plan, because I am worried that the silk might fray a lot, so I might actually overlock this one more time just to make sure. But yeah, getting along. And here I am just kind of sewing the hem of the skirt into the braid so that it looks like a scallop hem, because as you can see, this was a very last minute decision. I was like, oh wait, it doesn't look like a scallop hem, and I kind of want to make it a scallop hem, so I had to do all these sewing things. And also I closed the back with snaps, which were actually really strong. So I kind of, so like both it's like the both sides of the fashion fabric are facing each other, so that you can't really see the snaps. And it's actually, I think it's an okay closing. I've done worse. I also managed to somehow cut one side of the skirt shorter than the other, so obviously this side is shorter, so I've just kind of put some black lace to kind of hide the length, but I don't know whether it'll make it worse, but I think it looks okay. Yeah, I don't think you can see it. I mean, to be honest, you can't really see it even now because, you know, it's at the back anyway. So, and then I've done these snaps and they look pretty okay, and then this is where the bar will go, and then I have to do the hook. So to be honest, I'm actually almost done. Finally, it's just a lot of sewing the braid onto the skirt itself, and honestly this part was kind of annoying. I couldn't figure out how to machine sew it, and I didn't want to kind of risk putting it on the machine and have the machine accidentally break shells, not shells but wings, because they're quite strong but they can be broken. Like, you know, they're kind of like fingernails, maybe a little bit softer. But yeah, it's just a lot of sewing, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next week in the next one, where I will talk about the rest of the costume, which is basically just the bodice. And yeah, I hope you guys have a good week. See you soon. Bye bye.